Here we're going to look at slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines, problem type 1. Consider this line, so here's an equation of a line, negative 9x minus 8y is equal to negative 3. We've got two parts to this question. What's the slope of a line perpendicular, and what's the slope of a line parallel to this line? Alright, this is the key information right here. Just got to know this. Parallel slope property says that two lines are parallel if they have the same slope. Well, that makes sense, right? That's kind of a no-brainer if you think about it. Remember, slope is the measure of the steepness of a line. So if this line rises up 2 and runs 3, then of course that's got a slope of 2 over 3. If another line has the very same slope, or I'm sorry, if it's parallel, then its slope is going to be the same. Now this one's a little more tricky, the perpendicular slope property. Two lines are perpendicular if the product of their slopes is negative 1. Product, of course, means times. That means the two slopes multiplied together makes negative 1. Another way that's commonly referred to is the negative reciprocal. So the negative reciprocal. That's an R-C-A-L. The negative reciprocal slopes. Alright, let's get into this first part. First step that we have to do is we've got to convert this standard form equation into the slope-intercept form. Remember, that's the y equals mx plus b format. So we have to rearrange this. In other words, to change it into the slope-intercept, we want to solve for y. So in this first step, we rewrite the original equation. We want to get the y term all by itself. So if we kind of grab onto this and hold it, what do we want to get rid of? This negative 9x. And how do we do that? We add a 9x. Because a negative 9x plus a 9x disappears and we're just left with the negative 8y. But of course, if we add a 9x to this side, we've got to add a 9x to the other side, and that's where this comes from. So our first step is negative 8y is equal to 9x minus 3. Now, we don't quite have the y by itself, so we need to divide by negative 8. That's where this comes from. Remember that when we have a problem like this, 9x minus 3 all over negative 8, we can separate that. It's the same thing as the negative 9x over 8, right? This is one part, and then that negative 8 stays, so we have a negative here and a negative there, so it becomes a positive 3 over 8. That's where we get this, the negative 9/8 x plus 3/8. Now we have the y equals the mx plus b, and we notice that the slope is the m position, which is 9/8. Phew! Alright, that took quite a bit of work to figure out what the slope of the given line is. Again, it's negative 9/8. So now we can start to answer our questions A and B. We know that it's asking what the perpendicular, the slope of the line perpendicular. So we're going to take that and we're going to find the negative reciprocal. So remember, the negative reciprocal means that if the original is negative, the new one's positive. If the original is positive, the new one's negative. So in this case, negative 9/8 is what we start with. We're going to change that to a positive, and then that's the negative part, so we change its sign, and then the reciprocal means we flip it over. So it's going to be 8 over 9. And there's our answer to the perpendicular part. So answer A is positive 8/9, and then B is easy because it's parallel, it's exactly the same. So that's what we did so much work to get to, and there's our answer for part B.